Beneath Hollywood's blinding glow, aspirations take shape. Yet within that same light, shadows quietly grow. Beyond the velvet carpets and polished smiles lies an unseen realm of relentless expectation, silent struggles, and moments when even the brightest figures lose their footing. We remember them crowned by applause. The legendary Michael Jackson, the luminous Judy Garland, the reborn symbol of resilience, Robert Downey Jr. But how often do we pause to reflect on the invisible cost etched behind their fame? We will gently draw back the veil to explore rarely heard journeys of icons who faced inner forces strong enough to erode their image, fortune, and at times their sense of self. These accounts may surprise you, unsettle you, and invite you to reconsider what fame truly represents. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share in the comments which story sparks your curiosity the most, and show your support by liking this video as we continue searching for deeper understanding. Brittany Murphy emerged as one of the most radiant figures of the early 2000s, known for her vibrant presence, distinctive smile, and a magnetic warmth that resonated with viewers. From her endearing, offbeat role in Clueless to the emotionally charged performance she delivered in 8 Mile, she revealed a versatility that set her apart. Many saw her as a singular talent, widely expected to rise among the defining stars of her era. With an effortless charisma that brought every scene to life and an emotional sincerity that reached beyond the screen, she formed a rare and lasting connection with audiences. Yet beneath her radiant image and hopeful demeanor, subtle signs of strain gradually emerged. The industry's relentless focus on appearance and perfection placed immense demands on her, contributing to noticeable physical changes that sparked quiet concern. At the same time, her sudden marriage to Simon Monjack, a figure often surrounded by speculation, deepened the sense of uncertainty around her personal world. To admirers and observers alike, it began to feel as though the path she once walked with confidence was becoming increasingly difficult to recognize. Then, in December 2009, an unexpected loss rippled through the entertainment world, leaving many in stunned disbelief. Murphy was discovered unresponsive in her Los Angeles home and passed away at only 32 years old. Official findings pointed to a severe illness complicated by physical weakness. Yet public attention quickly shifted to medical details that suggested a far more complex picture. Those close to her later shared that she had relied on prescribed treatments after cosmetic procedures, a quiet and common practice that, for many, can gradually evolve into unseen reliance rather than immediate alarm. The narrative grew even more unsettling when, only 5 months later, her husband Simon Monjack also died in the very same home under circumstances that felt disturbingly alike. This sequence of events ignited waves of speculation and lingering uncertainty. Was it fragile health, unseen dependency, or a convergence of hidden factors beyond easy explanation? What remains undeniable is that the world was deprived of a remarkable presence far too early. Brittany Murphy's passing continues to echo as a quiet reminder of unrealized chapters and the fragile line between promise and loss. Even now, the closing chapter of her life feels wrapped in a quiet, melancholic enigma, more poignant than fiction itself. She shone with an intensity that few could match, serving as a solemn reflection on how relentless expectations and subtle allure can dim even the strongest radiance. Still, her presence endures through the memories she left behind, offering a gentle lesson about how delicate recognition can be, and how stepping into a brilliant spotlight often carries unseen costs beneath its glow. Daniel Baldwin, part of one of Hollywood's most recognizable families, seemed destined for success, surrounded by opportunity, visibility, and creative promise. Yet, in 1998, his personal journey took a sudden and unsettling turn far from any film set. At a renowned New York hotel, an incident unfolded that drew widespread attention. portraying a moment of clear inner turmoil and loss of control. Authorities later intervened, and the episode became a public symbol of how easily private struggles can surface, even for those born into fame. That episode was far more than a fleeting headline or media spectacle. It marked a visible breaking point, the moment when a long-running internal struggle could no longer remain hidden. Nearly a decade earlier, in 1989, a powerful influence had quietly entered Baldwin's life and steadily tightened its grip. While many in the entertainment world wrestle with a range of personal excesses, his challenge centered on a single, persistent force, one that methodically eroded stability, threatened his public standing, and pushed him dangerously close to losing everything he had built. Baldwin's journey toward rebuilding his life was far from straightforward. In reality, it unfolded through repeated setbacks and difficult reckonings. He sought structured help again and again, 9 times in total, each effort representing a determined reach for clarity and control. Every return marked another confrontation with a challenge that refused to loosen its hold. Yet within those moments of reversal came hard-earned insight, revealing deeper truths about persistence, vulnerability, and the complex path of personal change. Daniel Baldwin, born into one of Hollywood's most recognizable families, appeared surrounded by opportunity, visibility, and creative promise. Yet in 1998, his personal narrative veered sharply off course, not through a scripted role, but during an unsettling episode at New York's iconic Plaza Hotel that captured public attention. Witnesses described him moving erratically through the corridors, displaying clear signs of inner turmoil and impaired judgment. Authorities soon intervened, and the incident became a stark reminder of how private struggles can suddenly unfold in the most public of spaces. It reveals that even within an industry where judgment is relentless and forgiveness is seldom granted, renewal remains possible for those who choose to confront their struggles head-on and reshape hardship into meaning for others. Healing becomes more than an individual achievement. It stands as a quiet affirmation of human resilience. Even when life presses someone to its most fragile limits, there remains the capacity to stand again, move forward, and discover a glimmer of clarity beyond the darkness. And now, we turn to the journey of a figure who reshaped what it truly means to endure in Hollywood, Zac Efron. Once celebrated as the polished, golden-faced lead of High School Musical, he appeared to embody success without friction, recognition, opportunity, and a future glowing with promise. Yet beneath the flawless image and headline roles, a quieter unraveling was underway. As the early 2010 seconds approached, murmurs of excess, sleepless nights, and unchecked habits began to circulate, hinting that the polished surface concealed a young star struggling to find balance amid relentless pressure. Substances had quietly woven themselves into his routine, placing everything he had achieved at serious risk. In 2013, Efron chose a decisive turning point, stepping away to confront his challenges directly and seek structured support. The path forward was gradual, not immediate. It involved committing to guided recovery programs, working closely with professional help, and relearning how to build stability from within one deliberate step at a time. In later conversations, he has spoken with rare openness about how growth is an ongoing journey, explaining that those difficult chapters reshaped his understanding of balance, well-being, and genuine fulfillment. Looking back on his lowest points, Efron reflected that without moments of profound struggle, it becomes impossible to fully recognize or value moments of joy. Today, his return is measured not only by changes in appearance or renewed success on screen, but by a deeper sense of awareness and purpose that extends far beyond the spotlight. At its core, his story is about seeking calm and meaning beyond constant attention. From youthful idol to resilient survivor, Zac Efron has demonstrated that the most courageous performance is often the one no audience sees facing internal struggles and deciding to grow beyond them. His victory was not limited to roles or recognition. It was a personal triumph over his own limitations. That journey remains a powerful reflection of renewal, determination, and the enduring strength required to reshape one's path and keep moving forward. Joanna Moore once embodied the refined glamour of classic Hollywood, a respected performer with appearances spanning more than 17 films and over 100 television roles. Her grace and ability left a lasting impression on audiences, and her union with the rising Ryan O'Neal appeared to seal her position among the industry's most admired circles. Together, they welcomed 2 children, Tatum and Griffin. Yet as Ryan's professional path continued its upward climb, Joanna's personal world quietly shifted, drifting away from the spotlight and into an increasingly troubled chapter. Beyond the shimmer of Hollywood's surface, she faced a quiet and exhausting struggle that slowly unraveled everything she had built over years of dedication. This conflict unfolded far from the cameras, standing in sharp contrast to the brilliant stages and applause that once defined her days. In 1970, Moore turned to professional help, hoping to restore balance and reclaim direction in her life. Yet less than a year later, a serious legal setback halted her fragile recovery, interrupting a promising return and resulting in the loss of daily life with her children. It was a crushing turn of fate, sending one of Hollywood's brightest figures into a downward spiral that felt almost impossible to reverse. The actress, who once radiated confidence on screen, now struggled against forces that steadily drained her strength, caught in a repeating pattern of dependency and inner pain. Years later, her daughter Tatum recalled a childhood environment marked by disorder and emotional absence, a place where stability was hard to find. Joanna Moore's later years unfolded in quiet seclusion as her health gradually declined, further burdened by long-standing habits that slowly took their toll. In 1997, at the age of 63, Joanna Moore quietly left this world after a long battle with illness, far from the brilliant glow that once defined her name. Her journey stands as a somber reflection from Hollywood's history, reminding us that admiration and outward brilliance are fragile things. When inner struggles go unseen and unresolved, even the most radiant presence can fade with startling speed, leaving behind echoes of what might have been and the lingering memory of a talent that once promised so much. Jodie Sweetin remains, in the eyes of millions, the endearing Stephanie Tanner from Full House, the bright-eyed child whose playful lines and natural warmth filled American living rooms with comfort and laughter. She appeared to grow up within a picture-perfect world, shaped by applause and familiarity. Yet once the lights dimmed and the routines ended, a far more difficult chapter emerged beyond the script. Away from the frame, Sweetin encountered an early collision with pressure and expectation, seeking release and independence before she was truly prepared to face the weight that fame can quietly impose. At only 14, she stepped onto a path far heavier than her years. Over the next 13 years, her life drifted into a relentless cycle of artificial highs and crushing lows, where escape slowly replaced stability. The once bright child star was living a turbulent, self-eroding reality, carefully concealed from public view until a painfully visible moment exposed the depth of her struggle during a university speech delivered while she was far from clear-minded after days of exhaustion and excess. That collision between public image and private truth became a harsh moment of clarity. She understood then that continuing along that path would only erase what remained of herself. Refusing to be imprisoned by her past, Jodie chose to confront it directly, transforming suffering into motivation. The road back was neither quick nor gentle. It demanded constant resolve and honest reckoning. She reached a hard-earned turning point in December 2010, yet later faced another test during a painful separation in 2013, reminding the world that recovery is not a straight line, but a continuous act of courage. Rather than surrendering to disappointment, she transformed each setback into a source of insight and renewed strength. She stepped into a role as a clinical logistics coordinator at a rehabilitation center in Los Angeles, while simultaneously preparing herself to guide others as a substance recovery counselor. Driven by a desire to illuminate paths she once struggled to find, Jodie Sweetin has become a quiet symbol of perseverance, proof that resilience can be rebuilt and that compassion born from hardship can help others find their way forward. Her path shows that renewal rarely follows a perfect line. It is shaped by progress and pauses, effort and reflection, yet always carried by possibility. From a familiar childhood face to a voice encouraging new beginnings, she reshaped hardship into guidance for others. Through that transformation, she rebuilt what her name represents, leaving behind a story defined not by struggle alone, but by endurance, growth, and the quiet determination to rise again. Michael Jackson was more than a celebrity. He stood as a worldwide cultural force. Through his sound, movement, and artistic imagination, he transformed entertainment in ways that still echo today, earning the title King of Pop. To the world, he appeared limitless, an innovator, a symbol of brilliance, an unmatched presence on the global stage. Yet beyond the sparkling glove and iconic steps existed a far more fragile reality, where intense pressure and personal struggle drew him into a perilous dependence on medically prescribed relief. His struggle did not originate from indulgence, but from an unforeseen tragedy in 1984, when a serious on-set accident during a commercial shoot caused lasting physical harm. Medical care meant to relieve intense pain introduced powerful treatments that slowly evolved into long-term reliance, a burden that lingered for decades. In the final 15 years of his life, this reliance intensified, reflecting mounting pressure and deep solitude. It was later reported that he relied on numerous assumed names to secure prescribed medications from different sources, a telling sign of inner disorder, personal isolation, and the complex layers he built to keep his private battle hidden. Those closest to him made repeated efforts to step in, yet he often reassured them that he was managing, that concern was unnecessary. Ongoing sleep deprivation quietly intensified the situation, steering him toward increasingly extreme solutions in search of rest. Over time, this pursuit led him to rely on a substance normally reserved for highly supervised medical environments. Instead, it became part of his nightly routine within the privacy of his own space, administered under professional supervision, reflecting just how far his struggle had progressed beyond ordinary boundaries. This unending loop caught between the urgent search for rest and an escalating reliance on extreme medical measures gradually pushed his well-being to a critical edge. On the 25th of June 2009, time itself seemed to pause as news spread across the globe. Michael Jackson died at the age of 50, following a fatal interaction involving powerful sedatives and a substance intended for controlled clinical use. His passing stands as one of the most stunning moments in modern music history, a somber reminder that even figures admired by billions can be quietly overtaken by inner battles, fought far from the applause and in profound isolation. Elvis Presley, the uncontested king of rock and roll, ignited a global phenomenon with his unmistakable rhythm, magnetic voice, and commanding presence. He embodied the spirit of youthful defiance, reshaping popular culture and leaving an indelible mark on American music. His rise unfolded as an unbroken wave of triumphs, carrying him from modest beginnings to a singular status few could ever reach. In the public eye, he was not merely successful, he became the king, a symbol of an era and a legend without equal. Yet, as the 1,970 seconds drew to a close, the figure once synonymous with boundless drive and vitality began to feel the heavy strain of constant attention, deep solitude, and ongoing physical discomfort. Life inside the walls of Graceland, though outwardly grand, quietly intensified his sense of separation, distancing him from everyday reality and steady guidance. In that silence, the relief he searched for arrived in a risky way, as medically prescribed solutions gradually shifted from short-term comfort to an ever-growing reliance. Despite once speaking openly against illicit substances early in his rise and even being publicly recognized for that stance, Elvis quietly moved down a far more complicated path. What began as an attempt to cope with ongoing physical discomfort, persistent sleeplessness, and the unrelenting demands of constant performance slowly evolved into a heavy reliance on prescribed remedies. Under the care of a longtime physician later widely known to the public, vast quantities of medications were introduced into his routine, ranging from pain relief to sleep-inducing treatments, forming a hazardous balance that would quietly reshape the final years of his life. This unintentionally formed a closed loop of reliance, where effectiveness faded and quantities quietly escalated in response. Those nearest to him could only observe with concern as the once agile, electrifying performer gradually changed. His appearance and stamina declined, creating a stark contrast to the dynamic figure who had once commanded global stages. Over time, prolonged medical dependence combined with unbalanced habits placed increasing strain on his body, accelerating a steady and visible decline. His last appearances often blended flashes of enduring brilliance with unmistakable weariness, a painful contrast for admirers who remembered his boundless vitality. Then, on the 16th of August 1977, his story reached a sorrowful conclusion. Elvis was discovered unresponsive within his Graceland home and passed away at just 42 years old, a loss that came far too early and left the world with a lingering sense of heartbreak. Later medical findings pointed to a dangerous mixture within his body, reinforcing a truth that had quietly lingered for years. The very remedies he trusted had turned against him. The king, once in command of stages and generations, was ultimately overcome not by competition or obscurity, but by an inner struggle that unfolded beyond the reach of applause. Elvis Presley's passing stands as a solemn reflection that even the strongest legends are vulnerable when private battles are carried alone, unseen, and unresolved. If this perspective resonates with you, leave a 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, share a 0. Enjoy the video, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us continue exploring meaningful stories. We welcome your reflections on how this narrative shapes the way we view musical icons. Join the conversation and let your voice be heard.